we're venturing into the digital space of a really engaged online community. It's UK-based mostly, and all centered around artificial intelligence.
Right, so we've got this snapshot, this log.
Exactly. Think of it like an expedition through their chat logs. We're looking at March 18th to April 25th, 2025.
Quite a chunk of time.
Yeah, and the mission is basically to pull out the key trends, the insightful discussions, maybe some surprises too.
From this mix of AI enthusiasts, pros, founders.
What can it tell us, about AI adoption innovation right now?
It's almost like a real-time focus group, isn't it? People deep in the AI world.
Totally.
And these logs, they give such a ground-level view of how this part of the tech scene is dealing with the speed of AI.
It's incredibly fast. And what hits you first is just the energy.
Yeah, the buzz.
It kicks off with reactions to a presentation, robot time, physical AI.
Okay.
And you get this mix, like technical chat, right next to really human reactions. Someone said an AI called Blue was cute. Cute. It tells you something, doesn't it?
It does. It paints this picture of a community that's, serious, but also approachable.
Yeah.
Relatable.
That casual side is interesting. It suggests they're not just talking about AI, theoretically.
Right.
They're interacting with it more personally. Like it's a tool they're really getting familiar with.
Exactly. And some of the early ideas are real head turners. This idea about small teams using AI to get massive scale.
Ah, yes. The $1 billion company with 3 or 4 people idea.
Supported by AI. I mean, let's unpack that. That's pretty bold, right?
It is bold.
Yeah.
But it taps into this trend of AI automating big chunks of operations, handling complex stuff.
Okay.
Think about, autonomous agents, AI workflows. These things could genuinely cut down the need for big teams. For certain businesses, anyway.
Digital products, maybe.
Yeah.
Automated services.
Exactly. Though, the challenges, strategic leadership,
Sure.
handling the unexpected with just a few people, that's still huge.
True.
And this idea, then, it sparks this bigger chat about society. Someone actually says, AI will be questioning, sooner than later, our model of society.
Wow. Okay. So they're already thinking long term.
Yeah, drawing parallels to, electricity, the internet, those huge shifts.
Which is a really key point, because the first uses of those techs, they barely hinted at the eventual impact, did they?
Not at all.
They totally reshaped how we live and work in ways nobody imagined back then.
Yeah.
AI might just do the same, unpredictably.
So, digging deeper into these chats, what are the big themes that keep popping up?
One thing you just can't miss is Perplexity AI. It gets a lot of airtime.
Right. Probably because of the Perplexity Business Fellowship connection you mentioned.
That seems likely. And there's real enthusiasm for what Perplexity can do.
Yeah, it's like their go-to reference, people using it for, all sorts. Research, lit reviews.
It's even making podcast summaries from dense white papers.
That's pretty handy. It shows the range, doesn't it?
Definitely shows the versatility they're finding. They're not just looking at it. They're actively weaving it into their workflows for finding info, understanding it, putting it together.
And they get specific, too. Talking Perplexity Pro, Enterprise Pro features.
Like user seats, API credits.
That $10K figure for activating 100 Enterprise Pro seats caught my eye. And maybe getting a free year.
Yeah, they're really looking at the practical side, the value for their own businesses.
So API credits application programming interface lets different software talk to each other, right?
What?
And credits are like usage tokens.
Exactly. And talking about licenses, credits, free trials. It shows they're serious. They're weighing up the costs and benefits like any business would with a new tool.
And they're sharing resources, too, like a no-code AI workshop with Replit, Lovable, Bolt.
Yeah, and using Perplexity spaces for brainstorming.
Helping each other figure it out. And no-code means building stuff visually, not with traditional coding, right?
Right. It makes building software easier, faster for more people. And that sharing, that collaboration, it's what makes these communities work,
Builds that collective knowledge base.
Exactly. It speeds everything up.
But it's not all smooth sailing. They're troubleshooting, asking for features like usage stats in Perplexity.
Which is practical. Shows they're using it enough to need that data.
Good feedback for the developers, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. That's gold dust for them.
Yeah.
Shows where the pain points are or what users value.
And there was that live session, mentioned the CEO of Replit at a Perplexity event. That really highlights how no-code and AI are coming together, doesn't it?
It really does. That convergence is a big deal. Makes building AI apps much quicker, easier, especially for smaller teams. Ties back to that small team, Big impact idea.
And the perplexity news just keeps flowing in the chat. Launch of perplexity for startups. A hackathon.
They're clearly plugged in.
A hackathon's always a good sign. Sparks new ideas.
Definitely. Great way to see what people can really do with the platform, push the boundaries.
Yeah. But there were concerns too. Data retention, losing search history. That's a big one if you rely on it.
Yeah, data privacy, control.
Yeah.
These are huge issues with AI tools.
Yeah.
Losing your history. That could be a major drawback for long-term research.
Definitely. Okay, so shifting gears a bit, it wasn't just perplexity, was it? They were excited about other models and tools too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Google BeatMind's Gemini 2.5 Pro got a lot of attention.
What were they saying about it?
Impressive reasoning, apparently, and very human-like writing.
The speed these base models are improving is just wild.
It really is. Constant source of discussion, experimentation across the whole AI community.
And not just the big names either. They shared an open source text-to-speech model, Sesame.
And talked about using AI for like really specific things, upscaling images, summarizing WhatsApp chats.
Wait, summarizing WhatsApp chats? That I could use.
Right. And get this, Ghibli-style expense reports.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like Studio Ghibli. That's inspiring.
It really is. Shows how creatively people are thinking, even for like boring tasks. And sharing open source stuff like Sesame is important too. Shows that collaborative spirit.
And what was this vibe coding thing? Using Replit, lovable AI. That term's new to me.
Yeah, vibe coding. It seems to mean a more intuitive way of building software. Less traditional coding, more visual interfaces, maybe AI helping generate code.
Okay. More fluid, faster, prototyping.
Something like that. Makes it easier maybe for people without deep coding backgrounds, which fits with platforms like Replit and Lovable.
And they mentioned a load of others. Claude, U.com for market analysis, NotebookLM, Firebase Studio.
It's a huge toolkit they're exploring.
Yeah.
Reflects how dynamic the AI landscape is right now. Everyone's trying to figure out what each tool is best for.
And they even got into debating wrappers versus underlying tech, like how much is just a pretty front end.
That's a really important discussion. Is it just UI on top of, say, GPT-4, or does it add real unique value? Understand that affects, costs, flexibility, long-term reliance.
Makes sense. Okay, let's talk practical applications. AI in business. Productivity. That was a big focus too, right?
Huge focus. We saw a chat about bringing AI into places like finance, accounting, areas not always first in line for new tech.
Interesting. Is that a wider trend?
Definitely. AI's potential for automation, efficiency, getting insights from data, that's appealing across the board now, even in traditionally cautious sectors.
And this idea of AI democratizing opportunity, helping solo founders, small teams bridge skill gaps.
Yeah, that came up a lot. Connects back to the small team, big impact thing again.
Right.
AI as a force multiplier, augmenting skills, letting individuals do things that used to need a whole team or specialist expertise. Very empowering for entrepreneurs.
And they shared actual use cases, predictive maintenance, quality control, optimizing workflows.
Real world stuff.
Yeah.
But also some realism, which was good to see.
How so?
Some folks admitted results weren't always amazing. Sometimes underwhelming, actually.
Okay. So not just hype. Good.
Yeah, it's crucial to be balanced. AI is great, but effectiveness really depends on the problem, the data, how you implement it. Seeing that critical eye is healthy.
And the always-on intern idea, AI handling the tedious stuff, that seemed popular.
It's a great analogy, isn't it? AI tackling the grunt work, freeing people up for, strategic thinking, creative stuff.
Yeah.
The human skills.
Who wouldn't want that? Yeah. Then there was the AI-first organization idea, like a CEO mandating AI use everywhere.
That's a big commitment. Top-down drive can really push adoption.
But requires serious training, change management.
Absolutely critical. You can't just flick a switch. You need proper training, support, helping people actually use the tools effectively.
And building these internal tools brings its own headaches, right? We've talked about user acceptance testing, scalability, security.
The real-world hurdles.
Yeah.
Making sure tools actually work for users, can handle growth, are secure, essential stuff for success, and avoiding risks, especially with internal data.
So beyond the tech, the logs really show this community forming and growing, don't they?
Definitely. Welcoming new members, sharing LinkedIn profiles, building those connections.
That social networking side is key for these groups.
Incredibly valuable. A space to connect, collaborate, learn from different perspectives.
And they even talked about meeting up in person around the AWS Summit in London.
Yeah, moving from online to IRL, that's often a sign of a healthy, thriving community. Strengthens bonds, builds identity.
And they're thinking about evolving, too, maybe expanding beyond just the perplexity fellows, creating subgroups, like for finance pros.
That makes sense. More focused discussions, networking within specific fields, adds value for everyone. The community isn't static.
And just constantly sharing events, webinars, masterclasses, keeping everyone learning.
Essential in AI. Things change so fast. Sharing resources shows that commitment to staying sharp, staying ahead.
And I love this bit, members summarizing the chat logs for newcomers. Talk about meta.
Yeah. That kind of self-organizing, creating shared resources, that's a great sign. Shows collective ownership, making it accessible for everyone.
Now, mostly it was practical, technical chat, but the bigger picture stuff did creep in, right? Ethics, society.
Yeah, that initial point about AI questioning society came back up.
Good to see they're keeping that wider view.
Definitely encouraging. Shows awareness of the broader impacts alongside the day-to-day tech.
And they touched on jobs, too. Guessing which sectors might be more resilient.
Healthcare, entertainment, manual labor were mentioned. Maybe surprisingly for some.
Why manual labor?
Well, the thinking is often about uniquely human skills. Empathy, complex interaction, or physical dexterity in unpredictable settings. Things AI still struggles with, but, the long-term job market impact, still very much up for debate.
In a brief mention of IP issues with AI art and stuff.
Yeah, the complex legal and ethical tangle, still unfolding.
Always a tricky one. Finally, there were some cool personal stories shared, too. Experiments people were running.
Like the person trying to build a WhatsApp summarizer using Twilio.
Yeah. Real hands-on problem solving.
Sharing those projects, successes, failures, that's how communities learn together. Fosters innovation, that try-it-out culture.
And the one that really jumped out at me, someone used a prompt on an LLM to explore their own hidden narrative, sparked this whole introspective discussion.
That's fascinating, isn't it? Using AI for self-exploration.
Almost like digital therapy. Or just a mirror.
Yeah, highlights how AI can offer weirdly novel perspectives, even on really personal stuff. Reflecting our data back in ways that make us think.
So wrapping this up, bringing this deep dive into this AI community chat to a close, what are the main takeaways for you, for our listeners?
Well, it's clear this is a really switched-on group, right? Engaged, informed, forward-looking. They're actively wrestling with AI advances.
Not just watching from the sidelines.
No way. They're experimenting, applying it, discussing the big implications for work, for society, and that focus on community, collaboration, sharing knowledge. That's clearly driving a lot of the energy and innovation.
Any particularly surprising jump out for you?
Well, that billion-dollar tiny team idea was definitely provocative.
Yeah.
And the self-reflection prompt, using AI like that, was unexpected.
Yeah.
But maybe the biggest thing is just the sheer speed and volume of information flowing through this group, how fast they learn, adapt, explore. It's kind of dizzying.
So why should you, the listener, care about how a community like this operates?
Well, whether you're thinking about using AI yourself, or just trying to stay updated, or maybe find your own tribe, this glimpse shows you what's really happening on the ground.
The real challenges, the tools getting traction.
Exactly, the connections they're making.
Yeah.
It's all relevant if you're navigating this AI wave.
Okay, so one final thought to leave everyone with, something to chew on.
Maybe think about the power of these online communities themselves.
Yeah.
How does this constant rapid swapping of ideas and experiments actually accelerating AI progress in ways we don't even fully grasp yet? And, what role could you play in your own field, your own interests? Fostering that kind of connection.